Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another special episode of Herschel Talkers. We got a great friend from the show, longtime guest, Nat Dogg, aka Patrick. How we doing today? And we got Hans Groomer, Big Sean. How we doing today, guys?
It's a little drizzly out there, but we're doing fine.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome. Jump right into it. Georgia with a beatdown of the Shamecocks Boom Chickens, even though Will Muschamp's with us now, 40-13. JT Daniels came back looking great. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards. That defense was swarming. Actually, that GA assistant Nolan got his hand stepped on, so he was out, and they had to put in Luke Doty. But just overall, just beat down of the Gamecocks, 40-13, like you said. Sean, what are your thoughts on the game? And then we'll get Nat Dogg's.
It's weird, like, because the defense, I guess both the defense and the offense, that I guess it's a sign of just the talent discrepancy between both programs right now. But I felt like it was a somewhat sloppy game. You had like JT throwing a bad interception, and then you had some times where our defensive backs got burned for some bombs. But
right.
Other than that, I mean, it was still kind of a dominating performance. I mean, it's just hard to do anything against that Georgia defense. So, you would have liked to have seen them maybe cover the spread, but it seemed pretty obvious Kirby kind of called off the dogs and mercy ruled them, so to speak.
I thought the Vance kid made some really great catches. I kind of questioned our back end, Amir Speed. He got burned a couple of times, but, he went up some 50-50 balls. That was impressive. And I felt like, from Shane Beamer, from coming for him, they didn't kind of like lay down and cash it in. So I'll give it to him. He got those guys up. I know he's lacking in talent.
Yeah, I will say I think that's pretty spot on. They played hard up until the end of the game, even though it was victory wasn't really attainable. I mean, it was just it was good to see them fight hard throughout, though. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. All right. And then the overall elephant in the room, Kirby Smart doing Kirby Smart things with the QB. Well, I put Ben in on that third series and he throws that airmail pick. Why do you think he did that? And what was he thinking? I know everybody's been talking about it.
I think it was one of those things where, I think Kirby felt like, because we really didn't know who was going to start the game going into this, right? And so I think he wanted to try to give Stetson Bennett some type of reward for, stepping in and, handling things against UAB when JT Daniels wasn't able to go. It's just unfortunate the ball just kind of sailed on him and it was a pick. But, I think that's really what Kirby was going for there.
I thought it was a really stupid call, bonehead call. Like, why would you do that? JT Daniels was marched down the field twice, and that kind of killed the rhythm, threw like a monkey wrench in it. But Kirby's always made hit.
I don't know. Like, to me, it's different, and I think part of it becomes a sensitive subject to Georgia fans because you harken back to 2003 when Rick was doing quarterbacks with David Green and DJ Sockley. DJ Sockley goes in the Florida game, which was very tight at the time. What was it, a pick six he threw?
I was at that game. Yep, terrible.
Yeah, but in this case, granted it was an interception, but the game wasn't ever really like in dispute. You know what I mean? We knew who was going to win the game, so it is what it is. I don't really dwell on that too much. I just look at that as Kirby just trying to do right by a player.
I thought it was terrible, and I'm also going to bring up same thing with Justin Fields and Jake Fromm. Just trying to get him in there. He loves him some Mel, man.
It's not no Fields or DJ Shockley now. Although UAB game, he showed his wheels, but he's not those two guys.
No.
He's not. But he loves him some Stetson Bennett. But I think it definitely showed you that Stetson Bennett is your number 2. Carson Beck's probably in the transfer portal. Also, Arch Manning was in the building. Manning legacy.
By the way, how great was that the student body, like that portion that paints their chests, painted out Arch Manning?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I didn't think. Did they know he was there? I'm not really sure.
Obviously, they knew he was there. You think they did that on accident?
I'm gonna go ahead and say, Sean, you can talk it all on. I'll get interested in 2023. I don't think he's coming there, but he can come and flirt with us and take all his
I'm just
visits.
going to go ahead and say that he's
Yeah, go
coming
ahead.
to Georgia, and he's going to be the first student athlete to ink NILs with Coors Light and Trojan condoms.
Okay, I like that. Also, I'll say the kid's got some ears on him, so we'll see.
He looks
I
frat
mean,
boy ready.
He's a
does.
junior, right? He's junior or sophomore?
2023, so that'll be
He's
2
a
years.
sophomore.
Sophomore. So he's got a couple of years there. So that means Lane can't get fired within 2 years at Ole Miss.
Also, another little thing they were talking about with the Lane train for a while. The only person that Lane Kiffin was following on Instagram was Arch Manning currently. And then the quarterback, Matt Carroll, started complaining and joking with him. So he follows him too. So he's got 2 players he follows.
Hey, that's a coup for Georgia gets him, but Lane can't screw this one up.
He might not be there in 2 years, though. Lane train might go somewhere else. USC. Going back home.
Yeah, I don't get the impression that Ole Miss is really even necessarily in contention at this point. From what I've heard, it's a Georgia Clemson battle.
I heard Alabama
Really,
too.
like his father
Yeah.
went there, his uncle went there, his grandfather went there.
Yeah, it's in there.
They do throw the ball around the pitch.
Yeah, if Lane stays there, man, I'm telling you, he's gonna be.
Yeah, but I mean, you do see that sometimes kids just want to, to go out and just do their own thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes kids don't want to necessarily follow in a parent's footsteps, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll see 2023, but yeah, also good recruiting, a lot of 4 or 5 stars in the building, so hopefully that'll help out down the road. Transitioning into this week, we got number 2 Georgia still holding strong, going at Nashville against Vanderbilt in that high school program, whatever you call that field. Also, we're going to try to give them a beat down for canceling last year. That was terrible. COVID, they're all eat up with COVID. So anyway, point spread is 35.5. It's going to be 12 o'clock SEC network. I hope we don't come in, half asleep. But I just want to see the running game get going again. I want them to jump on them early. Probably see Bennett in the 3rd quarter. Sean, what would you like to see in this game? Just keep guys healthy. Don't get anybody on the defense hurt. Maybe get Broderick Jones some play at the tackle spot, because we definitely need to try to get Salyard moving down to guard, even though he might be stuck at left tackle.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of pretty much summarized it about as well as you can. I mean, you want to come out of there without any injuries. You want to see the defense continue to dominate. You would like to see somebody else step up at that left tackle spot just so that you can move Broderick Jones, to guard. And by the way, he's a more than serviceable left tackle. That's just how talented that guy is. But the problem is that Warren Erickson's just not getting it done at right guard. He's kind of a liability in there. So I think we need to have somebody step up, take over that left tackle spot so that we can move somebody inside and get rid of the liability, so to speak. And then beyond that, I think you just want to see them cover the spread. As far as establishing the running game goes, they should be able to do that. I mean, I think the one thing you don't necessarily want to see them do is struggle to run the ball, especially against a Vanderbilt team that you're favored to beat on the road by 36 points, right?
Yeah, I'm going to make my pick. I'm going to go 42-7. They might get a backdoor touchdowns against the backups, but they're not doing anything against that front 7 in first half. I like 42-7. Hopefully injury free, and then we'll have that big showdown in 2 weeks where Arkansas comes to town. For some reason, it's a 12 o'clock game, but that's going to be a test. Sam Pittman coming back home. That'll be 2 weeks. I like 42-7. What's your guys' prediction?
I'm going to go ahead and say 49-0.
Oh, wow, blank. All right.
Yeah. I think especially after some of the sloppiness that was on defense with the defensive backfield last week, I think Kirby's going to be all over their, so to speak. And so they're going to be looking to make a statement game this week.
Also, the other big news for the week is George Pickens practice, which is great. Not, I think he was running some passes on air, so that's great. Maybe we can get him back late November. Maybe for the Tech game, I was thinking, or the 2 games before Alabama, we'll see. So that was positive. Or he could be working on just, NFL tryouts. That was positive. Also looking like Tyke Smith and Darnell Washington for the Arkansas game. So that's positive. And then maybe we'll get Arian Smith
People
back.
always ask
Or any of those guys.
and the answer is always the same. No.
Way to mute yourself, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why. I hate when ESPN does that. So anyway, what's your thoughts on any of the big games for this week?
To me, Texas A&M versus Arkansas is interesting. I haven't necessarily seen a whole lot of Texas A&M, but I think that they've struggled some, it seems like, against below level competitions. I think Arkansas is quietly better than a lot of people have given them credit for. I actually like Arkansas in the upset.
But I know I'm talking out. Sorry, to Texas A&M, that Zarkle kid's not going to play. So a lot of people are on Texas A&M on getting the upset. How about Sam Pittman? How do you see him as like having this team come over? Because I think they won 3 or 4 games really competitive. How do you
Well, and Trey, I think we had some audio difficulty there. Could you? I think the last thing we heard was my pick of an upset of Arkansas. What's your thoughts on the game first, and then we'll pick up with your question.
Yeah, that Curzado guy is the backup quarterback for Texas A&M, and I know he struggled the first couple of games. He's the backup, and Arkansas has just been running it down their throat. I think they're kind of going old man football with Sam Pittman, just running the ball and going to try to like lean on them, even though Texas A&M's defense has a pretty good rush defense. And it is at a neutral site. I believe it's at Jerry World, which is interesting. But I'm going to go with it too. I like Arkansas. I'm going to go 28-24. Jimbo takes the L, but I will say kind of pulling for Texas A&M to put a loss on Arkansas just because that'll help us in the Georgia game. But this is going to be a really interesting game. It's the 3:30 CBS game. What's your thoughts, Nat Dogg? Any idea on this one? Number 7 against number 16.
I don't think it's a really good week for upsets.
Right.
I think pretty much like everyone's going to hold the fort. I think one game I'm interested in is LSU and Mississippi State.
Okay. Yep.
If a man down there, Orgeron, if he can't hold on there, he's pretty much like anytime that pink slip's coming.
Right.
And how amazing is it too? Because it really was 2 years ago that he won a national title for them.
Will this be the quickest anybody's gotten fired? What was Gene Chizik? 3 years? 2 years?
It may have been 2 years. Yeah, it may have been 2 years or so after. I don't know. Well, was it? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they follow a similar format and maybe trying to bring I always forget his name. Joe Brady back.
Man, you love some Joe Brady. That's your boy.
I mean, look at.
No, I don't think Joe Brady will come back. From everything I've heard, Joe Brady does not want to go back to college because he doesn't like recruiting.
Yeah.
Very good. Also, another interesting one to bring up is Notre Dame. I guess Wisconsin is going to be at Soldier Field. Both teams. Let's see. Notre Dame's 3-0. Wisconsin. That may be interesting. I mean, have it on the background. The other one.
I'm sure those kids are going to be scared for their life. They're playing scared because Kelly's always talking about executing the kids. So
I did hear that.
They don't want.
The other one I want to talk about, it used to be a classic. Sean and I were talking about it earlier. So you got Tennessee Vols at the Swamp, Florida, number 11. Florida scared Alabama to death last week. Could almost went in overtime with them, so that was a big one. So what's your thoughts on that one? And what's the streak again, Sean? You were looking at it earlier.
The current streak is 4, I believe, because the last one that Tennessee's last victory was 2016.
Right.
Tennessee's just, they're maybe at the lowest point. I don't even know if Nebraska's ever been as low as Tennessee's at right now. I mean, that thing's going to be ugly. I'm thinking probably like
Scott Frost is trying to make that happen.
18.5.
Remember when Nebraska fired Bo Pelini because he went 9-3?
Yeah, that's true.
So to be honest, in the last 10 to 15 years, who is the best Tennessee coach, to be honest?
Last 15 years, probably Greg Schiano.
Who's that coach?
He was like for a few hours until the fan base found out.
Oh yeah. It's obviously been Butch Jones.
Butch Lyle Jones. Yeah, Sport Lyle.
Maybe they should have tried to get Kiffin back.
Hey, which is more of a chance to go back? Kiffin go to USC or go to Tennessee?
Tennessee, because they're desperate for USC.
The way how USC fired him.
Yeah.
Tarmac.
Yeah. He didn't he couldn't even ride on the flight back, right?
Mm-mm.
No, he rode the flight back. He just couldn't ride back with the team to the campus.
Yeah, I like Florida in this one. For some reason, I like it a little closer than that. I know it's in the Swamp, just because if they can stop the run, because I'm still not impressed with Emory Jones, but maybe they get a better rush attack. But I like Tennessee maybe hanging around, but I'm going to go like 35-24.
So you think Florida is probably due for a
You think Tennessee's going to figure out a way?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a letdown. I'm going to go with they kind of blew their load last week against Alabama, and it's going to be a little bit of a letdown hangover game. Tennessee's going to put a little fight. 18 is a lot, but Florida wins, but I just don't think they cover. My opinion.
You can maybe look at it. I don't think so. To me, I think it's going to have just the opposite effect, where I think they realize they're probably a lot closer to Alabama than maybe they thought beforehand. I think they'd win by 21. And the issue too is I'm hard pressed to figure out how Tennessee's going to score 24 points. I have no idea what they've got.
Well, they got Heupel and they're slinging it around, and that new quarterback. I mean, I know it was School, the blind team, Tennessee Tech. They put 62 on them last week. That's decent. Against
Tennessee Tech?
Yeah, School, the blind.
I mean, do you think Tennessee Tech is as good as UAB? Because UAB made Stetson Bennett look like Tom Brady.
He did. I agree. And then the other one, not the best slate of games, but the other one's going to be West Virginia at Oklahoma. I believe that is the ABC. I believe that's game day. I believe.
That's crazy. That's game day.
I mean, I think it is. But Oklahoma, Spencer Rattler. I mean, their spread's 17, but West Virginia coming off a big win against Va Tech. So we'll see. Maybe go to Oklahoma in that one. Sean's in love with some Lincoln Riley. No defense.
Yeah.
And then next one, just real quick, because it is early. We're coming into game 4 already. Here's the rankings. Alabama, a little bit of kryptonite. Georgia, this is weird. And you got Oregon, Oklahoma, Iowa. And isn't it crazy that Clemson, Ohio State is not in the top 8? I know it's early, but what's your guys' thoughts on this? I think this race is wide open this year. Anybody can be knocked off. It's not going to just be plug and play. Bama, Clemson. You're not going to see Bama, Clemson fatigue. So what's your guys' thoughts on it already?
I know Clemson dropped 3 spots. So I'm still pretty shocked they're at 9.
I mean, they rolled
away like they played.
They rolled around with a bad Tech team, dude. They're
bad Tech team.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, we can focus on the top 10. I think Clemson and Ohio State are actually probably ranked higher than what they ought to be. Because to me, if you look a little bit further down, right, like Ole Miss, Arkansas, I mean, to me, those are two. I mean, they're undefeated and they're in the top like 15, right? Top 16. To me, they ought to be above, definitely over like, Clemson and Ohio State just off a 1-loss record. You know what I mean? And there hasn't been anything in either of those teams' performances that indicates that they're better.
The team to watch, they got a little scare last week. My dark horse team, and I'm getting on this, they were tested last week, is I like Cincinnati, 1-0 and backdooring their way into that fourth team.
So that's the group of 5 team we need to be watching.
That's the one. They got a little test last week. I think they still have Notre Dame, but if they can somehow go that 12-0, Luke Fickell's got them rolling. They got a good defense. I like them back in there. They'll probably get smoked whoever they play in the first, but they pushed Georgia last year. It was a good team. And I like them.
In a bowl game we didn't care about, though, mind you.
Still, you had to show up, but they'll get motivated. I mean, they might have 2 losses, but anyway, that's the team. I don't believe in these guys yet. Oregon, that was a big win against, but it's a down Ohio State team. I have to look at their schedule, but it's Oregon for real. 3 is a lot.
Let me put this to you. Like, Oregon went in there without Thibodeau, who is pretty much their Adam Anderson. They went in there without
banged up, right?
Yeah, with a lot of injuries. To me, they remind me of the 2017 Georgia Bulldogs actually a lot.
Wow, dangerous. How's their offense though?
I mean, it's the same kind of offense. They're very and it's a Joe Moorhead offense, who was the OC at Penn State when Saquon Barkley won the Heisman. Right. So it's kind of a power run oriented offense. You know, it's not a particularly sophisticated playbook. They're not going to fool you. They are what they are, but they play tough defense. They got a tough offensive line. And they went into the horseshoe again, banged up and handled business. I mean, had Thibodeau been able to play, I don't know that Ohio State scores as much as they do.
That's a good point. So we'll see. Should be interesting, but this thing's wide open. That's what I like about it. Georgia's going to get some guys back, but we do have, tough games coming up. So we'll see.
Can you tell me who's tough?
Florida's going to be tough. Auburn's going to be tough at Jordan-Hare.
Okay, well, let's go through this, right? So if you're the offensive coordinator for any team in college football right now, Trey, how do you stop that Georgia defense?
Knowing our luck in that Kentucky game, we'll lose about 3 or 4 starters, and we'll be back where we are.
No, but okay. Well, let's obviously hope that doesn't
happen.
happen.
My Disney on my Disney ears is I'm at the entry of Disney World, but I'm not high-fiving many in them yet. I'm almost there. I'm like right here. But there's Saban's over there at the castle, whatever.
How does Saban stop it? Like, because the thing is you've got it starts with Jordan Davis in the middle, right? He's 6'5", 345 pounds, and it's just explosive as all get out. So you either gotta you're gonna have to pick your poison. Most people are gonna try and double team him, right? Just because he's gonna collapse the pocket like crazy, right? If you don't double team him, right? Or let's just say you double team him. The problem that then creates is that you've got Adam Anderson and Nolan Smith on the outside, who are both just, incredible pass rushers. So
stay healthy.
And then you've got Channing Tindall, an inside linebacker, and
front seven's great. They're amazing.
Yeah. There's just too many people to block. Honestly,
backside though, you can take some shots against that kind of weak secondary.
Yeah, if you can get the ball out in time, though, it's hard to do. Like, and a lot of those weak shots were when we had backups in. So, I'm not saying it's not something that doesn't need to be worked on. It for sure does.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's going to be hard to move that ball against that defense. It really is.
That's why Arkansas, if they think they're gonna run for 100, 200 yards on that defensive line next week. Good luck. That's what they're going to try to do. Anyway, I like where we're at. Like I said, we're trending good. We're getting some guys back. Just stay healthy and be consistent.
So right now, if you're in the playoff committee, Trey, let's go back.
Yep.
If you're in the playoff, and Nate Dogg, this is for you too. Who are your 4 to go in? Are you going just Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Oklahoma?
Uh,
Here's the thing. I don't think you put two. All right. Here's the thing is Alabama and Georgia both went out and then one of them loses in the SEC championship games because that's important right now. I know that's.
Well, let's just say Georgia wins out and Alabama's got one loss. Are you putting them in?
Alabama always gets the benefit of the doubt. So
Who wins the SEC championship game?
That's what I'm saying. Georgia would.
If Georgia, if it's Alabama and Georgia and they both go in undefeated,
Because they did it.
There'll be two SEC teams that get in.
All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I agree with that. But 2017 happened. There's all that complaining. Oklahoma gets in. Oregon gets in. There's one of these Big 12 teams, or I'm sorry, Big 10 teams went out because that's a Power 5 team. One of these, and then my other one is the dark horse right here. I told you. What a Cincinnati back. Let's just say they win 12-0. Did really good last year. They should have got in. They got got the old Heisman. So I like that Cincinnati maybe going in over Alabama. It depends on how close it is. But if it's a one loss, you'll have Saban go up there on the playoff committee or Alabama, blah, blah, blah. But do they actually, maybe the committee is Alabama fatigued and they try to like, all right, it's not your year, Bama. You lost.
Well, what about the reverse of that, though? Say Georgia loses a close one to Alabama again. Like, are you going to be satisfied with that argument that Cincinnati should get in over us?
If we win out and it's close, and it's going to go back, another one that's going to be important, and I kind of hope they keep winning, is if Clemson keeps winning, and let's say they win the ACC and they only had one loss, that makes us look good. So this was like a little cherry on top by beating Clemson.
What about if Miami wins the ACC?
Miami?
No, but what about if they do?
We're talking about Miami. They already have 2 losses. They're done. They're talking about firing the coach already.
They're talking about firing Manny now.
Manny Diaz is on the hot seat already. What are you smoking? Miami?
I mean, they got the touchdown rings, the turnover chains.
They had to put that up.
That's a great.
They should have.
Hey, but good. But a lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas. But I like all these backdoor. I like Cincinnati, dark horse, and one of those SEC schools. Of course, I want to get in. But if we went out in a close one to Bama, like within 7 points, yeah, we deserve to get in. But you got to win out. Can't have 2 losses. Can't be 2018 again. Only one. You get one mulligan, and that's SEC championship game. But I'd love to beat Bama, and then they get like left out. Love it. Beat Saban. They all let's say is washed up. Maybe he'll retire soon. But that's a great transition about what we were just talking to. Let's go to Nate Dogg's favorite and Sean's hot seat talk.
Woo!
There it is. All these dudes. Hey, anyway, let's start out with him because I gave that text last week. Is this dude on the hot seat? Scott Frost, 2-2, 4th season. Hadn't done much. What do you think about him? Nebraska.
I mean, my thought is, who are you really going to get to replace him? You know, I mean, to me, you're better off just maybe giving him time to see if he can figure it out. I mean, I don't know who else you're going to get. I feel like if you try to get somebody else, you're pretty much done.
About like you can get PJ Fleck, you can get Matt Campbell. I mean, is that an upgrade from where they're at? Or where is Nebraska?
I mean,
Nebraska top 20 or top 25 program currently? Good question. Are they still living in the 90s?
I feel like they're living in the 90s to me anyway. I mean, like, dude, you're trying to get kids to like come to the middle of nowhere.
How was Osborne getting all them kids in the 90s? Or they're just winning and living off the name?
He was getting those title or those, what was it, Proposition 48 exceptions.
Prop 48. All right, so maybe one more year. What's he got to finish? How about if he's 6-6? His record there is not great. He did all that.
What were they last year?
Can someone look that up while we're talking? Hey, we'll come back to that. Hey, and another one. We're gonna talk about we're gonna give a shout out to your girl Gwen, Nate Dogg or Sean. What does this guy got to do this year? Just beat Ohio State? Is this his year? 3-0. Ohio State's down. Or they'll choke.
To me, like, it's kind of funny when I watched the last year, I think they've resigned themselves to as long as he can go 8-4, like Michigan fans are happy, it seems like. They lowered their expectations a lot, it seems like. So, I think they're happy with him. I mean, they're undefeated right now, right?
Yeah, but how about the previous years? And they've lost 20 out of 21, got dominated by Ohio State all these years. You sure they're happy with them?
I mean, I feel like it kind of is what it is, right? I mean, who else? Because Michigan's got that weird cultural thing where they want a Michigan man. And so, as short-sighted as that is, like, as long as he's a Michigan guy, like, they don't care.
All right.
And Nebraska was 3-5 last year. He actually hasn't had a winning record at Nebraska.
Not right. Yeah, he is 14-22. So I think he's smoking hot seat in 4 seasons. He hadn't done crap. What do you think, Nate Dogg? Bad. 14-22. He's barely
That's
a
the thing,
500
like,
overall coach.
if you get rid of, like, who do you bring in?
I mean, all these hot names. There's a bunch of names there. Could have
Ooh, can you name one that would want to take that job?
I mean, like, why would
Dan
somebody
Lanning.
like Matt Campbell, who seems like has a good thing going at Iowa State, just move over like a state of what, like Nebraska's above? Why would he move over to that job? Like
Dan Lanning or Todd Monken, Sean? He loves Monken.
I don't think Monken will take that job.
Yeah, I'm just throwing some names out there, but there's got to be some like hot. There'll be some big names. Hey, Bill O'Brien with the Saban tree. Penn State, Nebraska. That's about similar.
Yeah, but to me, like, if it comes down to if you could take Miami or you could take Nebraska, I would still take Miami because even though the program's down, just the amount of talent down there, like even the scraps in the area should be good enough to get you in the top 25 and keep you there.
Scraps in the area.
I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah. All right. I agree with that too. Hey, how about another one is how long has this dude got? Mike Norvell. Oh, Tonto 0-3. That's bad. Jacksonville State beat them. Bad.
I don't think Willie Taggart started this bad.
Yeah.
He's starting right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's about that time where they fired Willie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
They found like $20 million just the boosters found $20 million just to get rid of him.
How did it get so Sean, you're a historian of this in the 90s. How did it get so bad at Florida State? I mean, I know you had Jimbo, you got you a natty in 2013, but what happened?
The problem became, I think, really, I think people tend to forget that Jimbo was basically an 8-4, 8-5 coach there until he got Mike Stoops as his DC, and then he had Pruitt for a couple of years, and that kind of got them rolling. But then other than that, after Pruitt left, they kind of just, they went back to being 8-4, 8-5. Some of his recruiters left. So program wasn't, great when Jimbo left to take Texas A&M. And then beyond that, I mean, look at the programs around you. You're a panhandle school. Alabama's doing great. Georgia's doing great. I mean, Clemson's doing great. I mean, there's only so many kids out there. And so I think part of it's just a byproduct of having better coaches, better recruiters at other universities. What's your thoughts, Nate Dogg?
Yeah, Jimbo saw something when he left that program for Texas A&M, which I think is a much harder job considering the conference and where they're at. But I know like they have issues with money too, right? It's not as bad as Miami, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think their endowment is like on kind of on the same level as some of these other. I mean, I'm just talking from hearsay. I'm not really sure about it, but
no, you're 100% right on that. And
know,
part of that too is it's not necessarily a poor reflection on Florida State. I think the thing people forget is that I think until the late 70s, it was an all-girls university, which at that time, just so society being what it was, meant you're mostly going to be teachers, right? So.
Yeah, All right, and one last thing I wanted to ask, because we talked about it last week, and then I was actually talking about it out the other night with Nat Dogg. USC, after a week after they fired him, who would you go with some big names?
To me, like, and I already kind of dropped the name initially, I would go with either Bill O'Brien or Todd Monken. To me, like the fact that Todd Monken has not received more looks. I understand he's a little bit older, but Pete Carroll was in his late 50s or 60s when he took over USC. I mean, the guy's resume speaks for itself. I mean, he's been an outstanding offensive coordinator, both college and the NFL. He's a great recruiter at Georgia. I mean, we went from kind of getting, turned down for a lot of top quarterback prospects to currently having 2 5-stars on board, one of them currently on campus, and Arch Manning, he's right in there for that guy as well. And he's also had success at the NFL level. To me, that's somebody that's just, I think they need somebody proven, somebody stable. Bill O'Brien could be that guy too. It's not hard to recruit at USC. I mean, when you look at they've still got a lot of talent there. Interestingly enough, Patrick, you know who their wide receiver coach is? Kerry Colbert. So, I think that just getting somebody in there, you need somebody who's a bit proven, right? Monken, to me, and Bill O'Brien turned around the whole Penn State thing. I mean, that was just a disaster with, the Jerry Sandusky scandal. And Todd Monken, he kind of turned around Southern Miss there, right? I mean, they went from 1-15 to, I think, or 1-11, whatever it was. And then eventually they, won all but one game, I think, one year, and that one loss was to Alabama. So, I think based on the body of work, those are the kind of coaches I think where, they've proven something in the past, more than just they can call some plays or, generate a unit with some high stats. We talked about it in the offseason. I thought Monken was a much better candidate for some of these jobs than Steve Sarkisian is. I mean, and I feel bad for Sark, by the way, because you look at him on the sidelines and he genuinely looks depressed when he's out there and stressed out of his mind.
Right, because he can't drink or find the brewery. They're keeping him.
Well, and then just some guys just, aren't head coach materials. You know what I mean? Just give them their, a micromanaged job and just let them, do that.
Know your role.
But even still, like, to me, he was an average at best NFL offensive coordinator. I mean, Monken had the top passing offense when he was with Tampa Bay. So, to me, that it's a no-brainer. It's one of those two guys.
3 guys that I like, not to cut you off. I like Matt Campbell from Iowa State. I like Luke Fickell from Cincinnati, even though I don't know if he was the West Coast guy. And then the third one you just mentioned him is a good link. James Franklin's a hot name, I heard. They even asked him in the interview and he dodged it. They think about James Franklin out there at Penn State. He went to Vanderbilt. I don't know if he's a West Coast guy.
I think that would be a great name too. I think that Penn State would find a way to keep him there, though. I mean, when you're at that point, right, where you've got that much money, you know what I mean? And even though USC, I'd still say it's a little bit better job than Penn State. There's really not anything to be gained from leaving Penn State for USC, I don't feel like. Do you, Nate Dogg?
Yeah. No. I mean, Pennsylvania is also another fertile recruiting around state, but now, like you said, now I don't really see why.
Yeah, the point of leaving.
Hey, Nate Dogg, give us who you really wanted to take the job.
What about Mario Cristobal? I mean, to me, that would make
Why would he leave for another Pac-10 school though?
Yeah.
Oh, he's already on the West Coast. I mean, that would be. I don't think he would ever go, but to me,
he's the one for me. I'll go with my buddy Josh Pate, who I always follow on the Late Kick 247. He keeps saying, watch him to get a look after Saban retires. He's got a link. He was already at Alabama. He's turning around in Oregon. Great recruiter. That might be a name.
It might be, but I don't think Oregon's going to go quietly in the night like that. I mean, just that Nike money's big there. I mean, that Nike influence, I think, is bigger than anything else in college sports, to be completely honest. I mean, it's just such a huge name.
You know who Nate Dogg wants, right?
Yeah, I think we just talked about this earlier, but if you could maybe, like, I don't know how much money or how much lure you can get him, you think you could get Bob Stoops there? Or is he like he just never turn his back on Oklahoma?
I just don't think he wants to get back in coaching like that. I mean, I think that the thing people forget with him is that, it was such a huge part of his life. I mean, he was doing intense level coaching like at a major college, I think shortly after, he graduated from Iowa.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a similar thing to like with John Gruden, where you have some of those guys that are, doing high level coaching at like an earlier age. It seems like they get burnt out faster and they're just kind of ready. I don't know if it's like a midlife crisis thing or, they're just ready to have a different chapter of their life, I guess. I mean, after you've already been at the pinnacle of your career, I mean, you've won a national title. I mean, why would you want to go back?
I mean, he did a little coaching. I mean, XFL is not exactly the same level, but I guess because he did it, the Dallas team was kind of close to his home in Norman. I'll give you one more name, Brent Venables.
Huh?
Yeah,
Because
that could be.
Because Clemson's actually down a little. They're kind of come down a little.
And they're already recruiting California.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a little familiarity there. So, yeah, I mean, if anything, like a
good name.
Like, I know, like everybody's throwing the ball around a lot, but like you still got to stop people. And if you can stop people in the Pac-10, like you'll have a quicker jump back up to where you're trying to get back to going to.
And I feel like he's sitting there waiting for a great opportunity. He's been at Clemson forever. It's a good call.
No, yeah, that is. I would just say maybe I think somebody who's got and can recruit the quarterback position is really what you want out of there, just because the number of quarterbacks that come out of recent that have come out of California that have, dominated other places, it's just crazy.
Where's Venables from? Like, would he be a Pac-10? Would be a West Coast guy? Is the question.
He's a Bob Stoops protege, actually, right? I mean, he was with Oklahoma for a long time.
Okay.
Does it really matter though? Because like Orgeron's from Louisiana, but like he fit in well with the USC culture there when he was there.
I think everybody loves him. Oh yeah, he's doing shit.
Yeah, he's not a hard guy to like. I mean, he just genuinely seems like a good dude.
And then I do want to say Nate Dogg has a vote in for Matt Rule with the Carolina Panthers. What do you think?
Yeah, but let's talk about this. This is interesting to me. Why do you want Matt Rule out of Carolina?
2-0. Got that defense rolling.
You know why. We're not going to get into it today, but you know why.
Because he let Cam Newton go?
Yeah.
Damn.
Was it Matt Rule's call or was it Herney's?
I'm sure it was all their call. If he wanted to coach him, he could have coached him.
I've been wanting to talk to you. Hey, Sean, bring it up. We love Nate Dogg. We know you're faithful. All right. He's not in the league currently. I know you got some stuff going on. He regressed with the Patriots. I know he didn't have any weapons around him. So if they would have signed him to like a 3 or 4 year deal, I mean, how's he looking right now? Am I being honest, Sean? Like it was the right call.
History's proved I think it was the right call. To me, like the one to get more upset about is how like Steve Smith was treated.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even like just call him and say you're like parting ways. I mean, he's got to find out on the news. I mean, I thought that sucked for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get iced up, son.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe somebody will pick up Cam.
Yep. But anyway, I got to actually
all right, guys. Yeah. Anything else you want to get off your chest? No. Hey, also rate and subscribe. Hit the notification button. Try to get them up. Hey, get those viewers up. Hey, Nate Dogg, thanks for coming back on, and we'll see you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Yeah.